already mentioned that it was a law that was passed that was against the Jews in Esther's time. Every time you see persecution of Christians, you will find that there is a law that precedes it. What Hitler did in Germany, he had legal precedent. He had laws that were passed. So don't think that what's going on here at City Hall is just a law. It's a law that has teeth in it. It has teeth in it. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. This is the camel with his nose under the tent. This must be stopped. We must come against it. Pray that God will have thousands of Christians here tomorrow to speak. Our presence is our voice, and we need to understand that. The Bible says that when the righteous increase, that the people rejoice. The fact that they increase is implied in there that they have influence. The Christians have been the only group that has carved out politics. And we are the most numerous. We are the largest single demographic in the city, in the state, in the country, in the world, if you would. So what is the problem? We have carved out politics in our thinking. Jesus was killed for politics. Pilate wanted to know, are you a king? In other words, we got a loyalty oath to Caesar here. And you're not saying that. They're saying there's a king, Jesus. And he's going, well said, basically. You're right. I'm a king. But I just want to say, beware of this law and educate yourself on it and be active and get other people to be active and vote, because this country has been given a privilege. Satan didn't give us the privilege of voting and choosing our leaders. That's a biblical concept. And so we need to take advantage of it, and we need to follow through on some things. I'm just going to read a little bit out of Esther here. The backdrop is that Haman has offered the king money to basically kill the Jews. And so the king made a law. There was an edict that went out through all the provinces. Then Esther called Hathach, one of the king's eunuchs, whom he had appointed to attend her. And she gave him a command concerning Mordecai to learn what and why this was. So Hathach went out to Mordecai in the city square that was in front of the king's gate. And Mordecai told him all that had happened to him, and the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay into the king's treasuries to destroy the Jews. He also gave him a copy of the written decree for their destruction, which was given at Shushan, that he might show it to Esther and explain it to her, and that he might command her to go into the king and make supplication to him and plead before him for her people. So Hathach returned to Esther with the words of Mordecai. Then Esther spoke to Hathach and gave him a command for Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province know that any man or woman that goes into the inner court to the king who has not been called, he has but one law, put to death, except the one whom the king holds out the golden scepter that he may live. Yet I myself have not been called to go into the king these 30 days. Esther's saying basically there's a problem here. I have not been summoned. So they told Mordecai Esther's words. And Mordecai told them to answer Esther, do not think in your heart that you will escape the king's palace any more than the other Jews. And this is the message to Springfield. Do not think that you're going to escape the implications of this law, because you're making peace or something to that effect. Okay? He says, for if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews and from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come into the kingdom for such a time as this. So Christians in Springfield, you were born in this time, in this spot, for such a time as this. Amen. So let your voices be heard. Amen. Show up, get your 5, 10, 15 friends, relatives, bring them down here and express yourself. We were at the same place 2 years ago, and 600 Christians showed up, or more from what I understand. This had 300 out here, and 3 different rooms up there were full. And they said, let's vote to move this to the front of the agenda. Then they said, the next vote, let's vote it off the table till cooler heads prevail. Well, cooler heads have not prevailed. We're still pretty adamant and hot and heavy about this thing going away. So thank you very much. Amen.